Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. Ethan drifted through life like a ghost in his own story. His days at the accounting firm were a monotonous cycle of spreadsheets, meetings, and lukewarm coffee. The numbers blurred together, offering no sense of purpose, no flicker of joy. Evenings were spent scrolling through sports scores and news feeds, a hollow echo of connection that left him feeling emptier than before. He felt like a perfectly calibrated machine, efficient but soulless. One rainy Saturday, seeking refuge from the city's drizzle, Ethan ducked into a small, unassuming pottery studio. The air was thick with the earthy scent of clay, and the rhythmic whir of pottery wheels filled the space. He watched, mesmerized, as an elderly man with nimble fingers transformed a lump of clay into a sturdy, rustic mug. The clay seemed to dance in his hands, taking shape effortlessly. Something stirred within Ethan, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years. It wasn't just curiosity. It was a deep, visceral pull, an awakening of something dormant inside him. He signed up for a beginner's pottery class that very day. The first few sessions were humbling. His hands were clumsy, the clay stubbornly refusing to cooperate. His creations were lopsided, misshapen, and prone to collapsing. He felt frustrated, tempted to give up. The instructor, a kind, patient woman named MS, Ramirez, encouraged him. It's not about perfection, Ethan, she said. It's about the process, the connection with the clay. Ethan persevered, He spent hours practicing, his fingers slowly gaining dexterity, his movements becoming more fluid. He discovered the tactile joy of molding the clay, the quiet focus it demanded, the sense of accomplishment when a piece finally took shape. It was a world away from spreadsheets and balance sheets, a world where he felt truly present, truly alive. But pursuing his newfound passion wasn't without its challenges. His demanding job left him with little time for pottery. He often arrived at the studio exhausted. His hands aching, his friends and family, used to his pragmatic nature, didn't quite understand his sudden obsession with clay. They questioned his decision to spend his precious free time playing with mud. Doubt crept in. Was he wasting his time? Should he focus on more practical pursuits? But then he would sit at the wheel, his hands covered in clay, and the world would fade away. The feeling of creating something tangible, something beautiful, from a shapeless lump was too powerful to ignore. Ethan started making small changes. He woke up earlier to practice before work. He brought his lunch to the office so he could leave on time for his evening classes. He even started selling some of his pieces at local craft fairs, surprised and delighted when people appreciated his work. Slowly but surely, pottery became more than just a hobby. It became a part of his identity. He felt more confident, more grounded, more himself. The emptiness he had felt for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of purpose and fulfillment. One day, Ethan received a commission to create a series of ceramic sculptures for a new local restaurant. It was a significant project, a validation of his talent and hard work. As he worked on the sculptures, he felt a profound sense of connection to his community, to his art, and to himself. When the sculptures were finally installed, Ethan stood back, admiring his creation. They were striking, unique pieces, full of character and life. Looking at the faces of the restaurant patrons admiring his work, he saw a reflection of his own transformation. He was no longer drifting. He had found his anchor, his passion, his purpose. The ghost had finally found his story. And it was a story he was now writing with his own hands. In clay, one beautiful creation at a time. He had found his true self. And he was stronger and more fulfilled than he had ever imagined possible. The moral of Ethan's story is that pursuing your passion, even in the face of challenges, can lead to profound personal growth, fulfillment, and a stronger sense of self. It highlights the importance of listening to your inner voice. Ethan felt a strong pull towards pottery, even though it was unexpected. Embracing new experiences, stepping outside his comfort zone, and trying something new led to a significant discovery. Perseverance through challenges. Ethan faced frustration, time constraints, and skepticism from others. But he kept practicing, finding purpose and meaning. Pottery gave Ethan a sense of purpose and filled the emptiness he had felt before. Self-discovery and transformation. Through pursuing his passion, Ethan discovered a new side of himself and transformed into a more confident and fulfilled person. Part 2. Building a community and finding deeper meaning. Ethan's success with the Restaurant Commission marked a turning point. But it wasn't the end of his journey. It was the beginning of a new chapter. One focused on sharing his passion and finding deeper meaning. One focused on sharing his passion and finding deeper meaning in his art. He started offering pottery workshops at the local community center, eager to share the joy he had found in working with clay. He wasn't just teaching technical skills, he was creating a space for others to connect with their own creativity, to find a sense of calm and focus in the tactile process. He discovered that teaching brought him a different kind of fulfillment. Seeing the spark of excitement in a student's eyes as they finally managed to center the clay on the wheel, or the pride they felt when they finished their first piece, was incredibly rewarding. He realized that his passion wasn't just about his own creations. It was about inspiring creativity in others. Ethan's workshops became incredibly popular, drawing people from all walks of life. He found himself surrounded by a vibrant community of artists, each with their own unique stories and perspectives. He learned from them, shared his own experiences, and found a sense of belonging he had never felt in the sterile environment of the accounting firm. One of his students, a young woman named Maria, was particularly struggling. She was talented but lacked confidence, constantly criticizing her own work. Ethan saw a reflection of his own early struggles in her and took her under his wing. He encouraged her to focus on the process, to embrace imperfections, and to find joy in the act of creating. He told her his own story, how he had felt lost and unfulfilled before discovering pottery, how he had faced doubts and challenges, but how he had ultimately found his purpose. Maria listened intently, her eyes filled with understanding. Over time, Maria's confidence grew. She started to experiment with new techniques, to embrace her own unique style. She even began selling her pieces alongside Ethan at local craft fairs. Seeing Maria's progress, Ethan felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He realized that his impact extended beyond his own art. He was helping others find their own creative voices, their own passions, their own sense of purpose. Ethan's life had become richer and more meaningful than he could have ever imagined. He had traded spreadsheets for clay, emptiness for fulfillment, and isolation for community. He had not only found his own passion, but had also created a space for others to find theirs. His story was no longer just about his own transformation. It was about the power of creativity to connect people, to heal, and to inspire. He had found his calling, not just as an artist, but as a mentor, a teacher, and a catalyst for creativity in his community. The moral of part two of Ethan's story is that sharing your passion and helping others discover theirs can bring a deeper sense of fulfillment and create a positive impact on your community. It emphasizes the rewards of teaching and mentoring. Sharing your knowledge and experience can be incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. The importance of community. Connecting with others who share your passions creates a sense of belonging and support. 1. The power of encouragement and support. Providing encouragement and support to others can help them overcome challenges and achieve their goals. 2. The ripple effect of positive influence. Helping one person can create a chain reaction of positive change. 3. Part 3. A legacy of creativity and connection. Years passed, and Ethan's pottery studio had become a beloved hub in the community. It wasn't just a place to learn pottery. It was a place where people connected, shared stories, and found solace in the creative process. Ethan, now older but still full of energy, continued to teach and mentor, his passion undiminished. Maria, now a successful ceramic artist in her own right, often returned to the studio to teach workshops and share her experiences with new students. She carried on Ethan's tradition of encouragement and support, remembering the impact he had had on her life. One day, a young boy named David wandered into the studio, drawn by the sounds of laughter and the whir of the pottery wheels. He was shy and hesitant, but Ethan welcomed him with a warm smile. David had never tried pottery before, but he was fascinated by the way Ethan's hands moved over the clay, shaping it into beautiful forms. Ethan invited David to sit at a wheel and try it for himself. At first, David's hands were clumsy, just as Ethan's had been years ago. But with Ethan's patient guidance, he slowly began to get the hang of it. He felt a sense of focus and calm he had never experienced before. As David worked with the clay, Ethan shared his story, how he had found his passion later in life, how it had transformed him, and how it had led him to this very moment. Sharing his love of pottery with a new generation. David listened intently, his eyes wide with wonder. He felt a spark ignite within him, a feeling that perhaps he, too, could find something that brought him this much joy and fulfillment. Ethan realized that his journey had come full circle. He had not only found his own passion and shared it with others, but he had also inspired a new generation to discover their own creative potential. His legacy wasn't just about the beautiful pieces he had created or the successful artists he had mentored. It was about the countless lives he had touched, the connections he had fostered, and the spark of creativity he had ignited in his community. His story was a testament to the enduring power of passion, not just to transform individual lives, but to build communities, inspire others, and create a lasting legacy of creativity and connection. It wasn't just about the clay. It was about the human touch, the shared experience, and the enduring power of finding what truly makes you feel alive. And that, he knew, would continue long after he was gone. The moral of part 3 is that the impact of pursuing one's passion can extend far beyond the individual, creating a lasting legacy of inspiration, connection, and community enrichment. It emphasizes the cyclical nature of mentorship. The student becomes the teacher, continuing the cycle of sharing knowledge and passion. The enduring power of inspiration. Ethan's story continues to inspire new generations to discover their own creative potential. The importance of passing on knowledge and skills. Sharing one's expertise ensures that the passion and craft continue to thrive. The creation of a lasting legacy. Ethan's legacy is not just about his individual achievements, but about the positive impact he has had on his community. Part 4. The clay endures. Years continued to pass. Seasons changing like the turning of a potter's wheel. Ethan, though his hands were now less steady, his movements slower, still visited the studio regularly. He no longer taught classes, but he would sit and watch, a quiet observer, a silent guardian of the creative spirit that permeated the space. Maria, now a respected artist and teacher herself, had taken over the daily running of the studio. She had expanded the offerings, adding new classes and workshops, but she had also preserved the warm, welcoming atmosphere that Ethan had created. The studio remained a place where people from all walks of life could come to connect with their creativity, to find solace in the tactile process of working with clay, and to share their stories. One afternoon, a group of young children from a local school visited the studio on a field trip. They were filled with energy and excitement. their eyes wide with curiosity as they watched Maria demonstrate how to throw a pot on the wheel. Among the children was a small boy named Leo. He was quiet and observant, his gaze fixed on the spinning clay. After the demonstration, Maria invited the children to try their hand at molding small clay figures. Leo hesitated at first, but Maria gently encouraged him. He sat down at a table, a lump of clay in his small hands. He started to knead it, his brow furrowed in concentration. He didn't create a perfect figure. His creation was simple, a small, lopsided bird. But as he held it in his hands, a smile spread across his face. He had created something tangible, something that was uniquely his. Ethan, watching from a nearby chair, felt a familiar warmth spread through his chest. He saw a flicker of his younger self in Leo's eyes. The same spark of creativity, the same sense of wonder. Later, as the children were leaving, Leo approached Ethan, clutching his small clay bird. "Thank you," he said shyly. "I like making things." Ethan smiled, placing a gentle hand on Leo's shoulder. "Never stop," he said. "Never stop creating." As the children filed out of the studio, the sounds of their laughter echoing in the air, Ethan looked around at the space he had helped create. The pottery wheels were still turning, the air still filled with the earthy scent of clay, and the spirit of creativity still thrived. He knew that even when he was gone, the studio would continue to be a place where people could discover their passions, connect with others, and find their own strength and purpose. The clay endures, he thought, and so does the human spirit. It is not just about the creation, but the continuation. And that, he knew, was his true legacy. The final part of Ethan's story emphasizes the following key morals: the continuation of a legacy through future generations. Even after one's passing, the impact of their passion and work can live on through those they have inspired. The cyclical nature of inspiration. The act of inspiring others creates a chain reaction, with each generation passing on the torch of creativity and passion. The enduring power of creativity and human connection. The story emphasizes that art and shared experiences can transcend time and connect people across generations. Part 5. The Evolving Wheel. Decades later, the studio, now known as Ethan's Clay Studio, stood as a landmark in a rapidly changing city. Skyscrapers had risen around it, and the once quiet neighborhood had become a bustling hub. Digital art and 3D printing had become increasingly popular, but the simple act of working with clay still held a unique appeal. Maria, now an elderly woman herself, had passed the torch to a new generation of artists, including some of Leo's children. They had embraced new technologies, incorporating digital design and 3D printing into some of their work. But they never abandoned the traditional techniques that Ethan had taught them. The studio had expanded, adding a gallery space and a small cafe. It had become a place where traditional craftsmanship met modern innovation, a testament to the enduring power of creativity in a constantly evolving world. One day, a young artist, intrigued by the studio's blend of old and new, asked Maria about its history. Maria smiled, her eyes twinkling with memories. She told them the story of Ethan, the accountant who found his passion in clay, the man who had inspired so many others to find their own creative voices. She showed them some of Ethan's original pieces, simple yet powerful works that embodied the essence of his artistic spirit. She explained how he had taught them the importance of connection, of community, and of never losing touch with the simple joy of creating. As the young artist listened, they felt a sense of connection to Ethan, a man they had never met, but whose legacy continued to inspire. They realized that the studio was more than just a place to make pottery. It was a living testament to the enduring power of human creativity, a place where the past, present, and future intertwined, like the threads of a tapestry woven from clay and human connection. The wheel continued to turn, evolving with the times, but the heart of the studio, the spirit of Ethan's passion, remained unchanged, a beacon of creativity and connection for generations to come. This continuation would emphasize the cyclical nature of legacy and how core values can endure even as the world changes. It would show how Ethan's initial spark of passion continues to ignite new flames of creativity. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you like the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.